Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tristan Berks here, the digital storyteller, and I'm super excited to be with you once again for another creative to creative conversation. And today's creative to creative is actually one that I'm really excited about because of the fact that I'm going to be speaking with one of my dear friends, Tanisha Brown, and she's going to be talking about her book, which is called I've Got the Tea that will get me to the juice. I've got the tea to get me to the juice that will get me to the juice. And she's going to be talking all about what that book is about. Also about, as creatives, how we can be more intentional about making good and strategic and wise connections. She is an amazing philanthropist. She has an amazing marketing platform and publication platform called Impact Magazine, which is like just for me one of the top sort of Black awareness and educational and just really has the heartbeat of the Black community and beyond, and things that have to do with people of color and people of African descent. So, and in entertainment, in education, and beyond.
Hey, Tristan.
How are
I
you
am
doing?
doing so well.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Doing well, feeling great, drinking my little beet juice, getting that getting that vibe going, trying to stay healthy.
Absolutely. Well, listen, in my normal creative to creative fashion, I got to welcome you in as any sort of Jamaican would welcome you in. You don't know, we got to lift up some after Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. Everybody wants to be Jamaican now, so we got to throw up some of that. But I am super excited to have you on. And one of the things that I want to really start out with is, there's so many things that you do. I think I really did injustice in terms of describing what you do. I think you do so many things well, but I would describe you as like a connector, as a relationship builder, as a strategic sort of connector and a strategic relationship manager. But I think that you do so much more than that. Would you be able to take the audience and the people on a little journey about who Tanisha Brown is?
Sure. And that is so amazing, to be known, having great relationships with people. I began this business, Impact Magazine, back in 2007, 2008. And I come from a town called Trenton, New Jersey, where it is very small, 7-mile radius, and you get to know folks, everybody knows everybody if you lived on a small street. And I saw how, the neighborhood worked together because of the women in the neighborhood have relationships with each other. And then as growing up, I saw the need of positive imagery because where we live was so dilapidated, even though I come from a town where image is everything, even though there's cardboard on the windows and things didn't look the same way. So my love of words and communication I just wanted to do that. And the greatest thing for me was to put out a magazine. And so from 2007, I just sat down at my good job at Merrill Lynch and got finished with all of my work 2 hours into, the busy day. And the rest of the day, I'll be at my computer doing this, working on the magazine, trying to get it together, just researching Susan L. Taylor and John Johnson from Ebony Magazine, just learning the greats, about how they did it.
Mm-hmm. No, keep on going. Sorry. I wanted you to finish.
About how they did it. Looking at Susan L. Taylor, when I looked at her, I'm a single mom, I'm coming from the hood, and I knew that I could identify with her because this was at the pivotal time that she was taking essence from here to there, all while being a single mom, going to school at night, And then John Johnson coming from means of a whole nother time,
Hmm.
having his mom take him from the South to Chicago, and how they built up and he built up Ebony Magazine. So it was two different dynamics from two of our great people in our culture that I just wanted to learn from. And from there, I would, just move forward into what I wanted to do, that I wanted to have positive imagery for our people. We get enough negative stuff from everywhere else. We get enough gossip. We get enough fashion tips. We get enough everything. But from my publication, I'm going to salute our brothers and sisters who out here who making an impact.
I love that, and it reminds me so much of like my journey, because when I was starting out as an actor, film and television actor, I actually I got tired. I got tired really, really quickly, Tanisha, because what I realized was if I wasn't casted for the drug dealer, or as the drug dealer, or as the
Mm,
pimp, or as the guy that's in jail, then I wasn't going to get a role. I wasn't going to get an
wow.
A-lister role. I wasn't going to get the B-listing role. I wasn't going to get the funny, quirky geek role, right? Back then I had my hair even larger. I had it in cane roles, and it was like, I had to take a step back and say, okay, first of all, what is my truth, right? Because the reality
Right.
is that I didn't grow up in the hood. I mean, I may have grew up
Right.
in the hood, but I didn't have a hood experience, right? I didn't have a
Exactly.
whole bunch of friends that sold drugs, that pimped women and whatever else.
Right.
So do I want to perpetuate that projection of blackness, or do I want to reinvigorate and rejuvenate what I experienced, right? And that's when I
Right.
stopped and I said, you know what, I'm going back to school. I'm going to now not just be in love with being in front of the camera, but going behind the camera and really telling the stories. So I can really, really appreciate where you're coming from, because I think there's not enough of us that want to actually take the risk to have the control to shape our narratives,
Right,
right? You know?
right. And it's so important to have that control, because nowadays we don't understand the importance of the control.
Yep.
Because, like they say, it's so much fake news, there's so many things. That's why, even with my publication, all the news can be out on one subject and they're telling the same story.
Hmm.
Me, like today, I put up about Meek Mill and
Hmm.
how he is the chairman on the board with Jay-Z and all of them. A
Hmm.
lot of the news outlets put out about they all came together and they received $10 million from the owner of Twitter. What I put out was how Meek Mill, the evolution of Meek Mill. Like, okay, all together, they're all together doing this great thing, and how Meek Mill is on this board with all these great people. But look at the evolution of his life, and we put a picture of when Meek Mill first came out to Meek Mill right now, with the big headline of him helping to free 30,000 prisoners into reform within this time of the pandemic. And it's just like, let's talk about that evolution of this man who has gone from going around Philly on bikes and doing whatever the hell else and running after Seraphie to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, can I curse? Oh my
It's
God.
okay. It's okay.
But just the evolution of a
Yeah.
person and how we shouldn't give up on people, and also we shouldn't take their crap. We
Yeah.
shouldn't be, all. We should hold them up to a accountable standard. But when they rise to that standard, we got to give them just due,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
that's what the
Absolutely.
story, and that's what I pride the publication on being. Like, you're going to see a different perspective with the magazine.
Well, that's what I love. I really do believe, like, I watch a lot of like Roland Martin Unfiltered, and some of the
Mm,
other black publications, or both from news, entertainment, education, all that sort of stuff. And I find that there's a lot more, obviously, available in America. I live in Toronto. You live in Atlanta, right? And Right. Yeah.
I live
Okay.
in
Good. Yeah.
Georgia, not
Okay. Okay.
Atlanta. Everybody claim it. I love living in these Kennesaw Mountains.
Georgia,
I love it.
Georgia.
I live in Georgia. Everybody claim Atlanta, but
But
I live in Kennesaw.
it was a Kennesaw, Georgia.
I
I
live
love
in Kennesaw, Georgia.
but the thing I love about that is the fact that there's a level of intentionality, understanding that if we don't have ownership of platforms, we really limit the perception and the storylines and our voice as a people and as a community. And that's not just for Black
Right.
people. That's for any community that's not the dominant force or voice within a society, right? I would love for you
Right.
to talk a little bit about, what were some of the challenges in terms of growing the publication, and then once we kind of talk a little bit about that, I want to then pivot over to speaking a little bit about your book and what really motivated you to start your book.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So, some of the challenges, a lot of things were, a lot of times it was me standing in my own way of believing that this thing could be done. It can grow and it can get bigger. And so, me deciding that, okay, you can do this. For the first 2 years, I highlighted known, unknown people in the community that I was in. People who were doing great things. They were on the cover. And then one day it hit me like, why don't you try to go after a celebrity? And so at that time, Kelly Price was out, doing big things. She was up for a Grammy and everything. And I was like, girl, you better not do that. You don't know if you can get Kelly Price, da 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 da. And I said, well, I see her contact information. I'm a researcher. I told my son, best thing you could do is research for yourself. And I found her contact information.
Mm.
Sent her email, and she was like, sure. We stayed on the phone for like 2 hours just
Wow.
discussing and talking. And I was like, wow, I could do this.
So before you even get any further, I really want to stress this point: the power of belief and the power of just what's the worst that can happen. Asking that question every time,
Exactly.
you have that doubt. What's the worst that can happen? They could say no, and you go to the next person. That just makes it
And you go to
easier.
the next person.
It makes it easier for you to
Yes,
redirect
yes.
your energy, right? Sorry, I just have to make that point because so many
That's
times
okay.
we think to ourselves, well, should I do this? I shouldn't do this. They're gonna say no. Well, if you've already defeated yourself, right, and already answered the question for them, then what's the point of even trying, right? It gives you an out to
Right.
not try, right? But I love the fact that you
Right.
did your research and said, hey, what the hell? Why not? Let me just reach out to her. So that's dope. That's dope.
I had to build myself up to even do that because I
Wow.
was so nervous and not looking forward to the rejection. I don't like rejection. At that time, I didn't. Now I know that I use that to propel me to get something bigger. But at that time, I didn't. And that's why I always tell people get out your own way because you never know. Things are going to take shape and take form, but you got to push yourself to get there to do it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so once I did Kelly Price, I was just like, oh, well, let me try this person. Oh, well, let me try that person. Oh,
Yeah.
is this easy? And what I found was if you have great content, they come to look for you.
Yep.
So just build it up. And a lot of times, another thing was I was looking at quantity. I was looking at quantity because even now on social media, we have what 22,000 people, and when I put up my stories, you'll see people from huge mega national publications checking out what we're doing. So it is about the quality now that I understand. It's about the quality, the content, and how you do these things that's going to make the noise.
I'm about to make some noise right now. Hold on. Because That's just fire right
Listen.
there, okay? That's just fire right there. Everything you just said was fire, okay? Okay? All right? Sorry, anyways, go ahead, go ahead.
But that's what I just, that's what I had to find out. And once I got that down packed and I started to meet folks and start connecting with the key players and spending a whole bunch of money. Lord, somebody help us, sister. Spend
Oh my
because you
God.
want your stuff. You want your product to be a certain level. And then I'll never forget, I met, I used to do event planning because, with the magazine,
Yeah.
we always do events.
Amazing
And
events, by the
well,
way. For those of you that have never
thank
been to
you.
the events, they're top notch. The awards of the ceremonies and all
Uh,
that sort of stuff. The fundraisers are amazing.
Thank you. And so, only people that know me know that I used to do wedding planning. And so I did my last wedding in like 2013 or something. Shout out to Danielle and Will. And
Okay.
yeah, it was so great. It was up in the shade room, might I add, and not for nothing bad, as being one of the most trending is talked about weddings of non-known people in that time. Anywho,
I can't with
but
you.
what I was gonna say
Yeah.
was, what was I gonna say, Tristan?
Well, you were
I don't
saying
even
that you were a
remember.
planner.
What
You were a
was
planner up until 2013 or 2012, and you planned events with the magazine, and you're gonna tie that together, I believe.
Oh, and I was saying how I can't
You
remember.
you you sure that's
But
just? Are you sure that's just beet juice? Come on now, girl.
no, this is really beet juice. I'm being trying to be very helpful, healthy during this
Mm-hmm.
COVID time.
Okay.
But what I wanted to do, I think
Yeah.
I wanted to say was how we merge the two,
Mm-hmm.
the magazines and the events to come together. No, that's not what I wanted to say. We're gonna go to the next thing, and then when I come back,
It's all
I'll
good. It's all good.
remember.
Listen, for those of you that are watching or listening, first of all, I just want to welcome you. My name is Tristan Barracks. I'm the digital storyteller, and I'm with my good friend Tanisha Brown. She is the founder, CEO, and chief officer of Impact Magazine. But she is also the author of, and I want to get it right, perfect. I've got the juice. Or sorry, I've got the tea that will get me to the juice. That is her new book, and she has. Have you released it already? It's recently released.
Oh yes,
Okay,
release.
good. It's released. So if for those of you that want to buy it, I believe you can buy it either by going to the Impact Magazine website, or you can go to Amazon and all the other places that you would purchase books from. And she's going to be talking more about what the book is about. I'm really excited for her to share a little bit about. I'm really excited about her sharing her experiences and also what the book is about and what she's been doing. So right now we've actually been talking about Impact Magazine. For those of you that are just joining us, there's about 4 or 5 people. If you don't mind just quickly telling the people what Impact Magazine is again, just so that they know as a refresher, and then we can go to the next part of it.
Sure. Impact Magazines is an amazing publication, thought provoking. Our mission is to empower, encourage, and educate Black folks on all of the great things that we do in our communities and respective industries. That's the spiel.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's talk about this tea that'll get me to that
Hey!
juice. All right, all right. I hope it's not that tea where you have to be yeah. Put up the book. Put up the book now.
Let me put it back up for
Yeah,
y'all
put
so
it back
y'all
up.
can
Put it back
really.
up. So tell us a little bit about the book.
The book is okay. I've got the tea that will get me to the juice.
Got the tea
The
that will get
book
me to the juice.
derived from me having a conversation with my son,
Mm.
and everybody swear they know the truth about something. Because when you hear about tea, that's somebody that got the news, right? That's somebody that got the truth. And what the tea represents here is the truth about you. And so basically, I've got the tea, which is the truth about myself, that will get me to the juice, to my goal. So, what the book is about is a workbook. It's a self healing workbook because tea it also has an annotation of chaos, basically. Tea is not normally looked at as a great thing. It's something that you do with gossip or whatever. But who has the greatest tea on you but you? You know, you have that. So if you own your story, like we were saying about the evolution of Meek Mill, he owned his story. Yeah, he
Mm.
went to prison. Yeah, he did all this crazy stuff. But when you own your own tea, you can
Mm.
then switch it around and look at him right now. He's on a board, chairman of the board, freeing the same people he was probably in there with. You know, they're
Mm.
probably doing rah-rah stuff together. So if you own your truth, then you're all right. It'll get you.
Mm.
So basically, own who you are. And this book will take you through the steps of owning who you are. In here, we talk about, what's your game plan? What's the purpose? What's your purpose? How you implement that plan. But there are steps of you coming to grips with who you are, living with it. And I had to do that myself. And I used some stories from the magazine, all of my journey with that and how I was able to build it and speaking about some of the relationships and doing all those things because every step of the way wasn't perfect.
So
Every step of the way, I didn't do everything correctly.
let me ask you this, Tanisha. Why now? Why this book? How did like so for me it's like man, I hear what you're saying and it's so there's so much there in terms of owning your own story. And I never thought of owning your own story as spilling your own tea. That's dope. That's such a dope analogy because it's like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna give you the advantage, or maybe not the advantage,
Right.
but give you
The
all the tea.
power.
Yeah, the power to spill the tea on my own self. You see what I'm saying? Politicians,
Right.
listen up, okay? Spill your own tea, politicians. Thank you. Anyways, but I'm just saying, I think that it's so powerful. Again, I'm the digital storyteller. We talk about storytelling all the time. The fact that you would make that analogy to wrap it in the idea of owning your story and owning it also not just from telling on yourself, but owning it from the standpoint of crafting it and shaping your story and then monetizing it. That to me
Right.
is, I mean, please talk more about that. But I really want to know, like,
And I'm so
yeah, go
happy to
ahead.
see that.
Yeah.
I tell everybody I know how to create. I'm a creator. I'm a visionary. So it's like I can never allow a person to own that part of telling you something about me. If you know me very well, I'm very straight up. I'm very direct. Some people could take it, some people cannot. But I know how to own my own stuff. And I know that there's no one perfect on this earth. But I know if I walk with integrity and I know if I walk a certain way, can't nobody own anything on me.
Mm.
I got the tea on myself that gets me to the juice. You
Mm.
want to know how I do this or how I do that? That is because I own it. I own
Ooh.
it and I walk in it. So get this book so you can own it.
I
and walk in
mean,
yours.
I don't even need to say anything else there. Y'all, anyways, anybody that's watching, please, if you have questions about the book, questions about what we're talking about, today we're talking about a
Please.
multiplicity of things, but I'm with my good friend, Tanisha Brown. She's talking about her book. Her book is amazing. It's all about, I got the tea to get me to the juice, right? Right? I said it right this time? To get me to the juice. Yes,
Yes.
good. I just want to make
Yes.
sure. And
Yes.
and really, this book is all about owning your experiences, your truth, and being able to always be able to control the narrative of your story. As a
Right.
storyteller, I understand the advantage and the power of telling your story and sharing your story. I understand the power of acknowledging that each person has a story, and I think that it's really
Right.
important for us as creatives and as individuals that are in different parts of industry to understand that our story matters. Our story is actually our perspective. Our perspective is the
Right.
unique way that we see the world, the unique way that philosophies that we bring to contribute to society. And if we don't understand this basic or this fundamental principle of spilling the tea on ourselves, having controlling or taking
Right.
back the narrative of our own life and our own story, then we're going to lose out on not just potential revenue, but lose out on the value that we bring to society. So, I mean, again, I love what you're talking about. Please tell us a little bit more without giving us too much of the book, because I want people to buy the book. So please share some more.
Sure, sure, sure. It's basically, exactly what you said. Own it and don't be ashamed of it. That's your story. This is who you are. You would, if it wasn't supposed to be a part of your story, you would not have gone through it. You might not have liked the way you have done things, but if you own it and live it and breathe it and learn from it and move in a whole nother way, you can own it. You can own it and not be ashamed of it.
Wow.
I'm not ashamed of anything that has gone on in my past. I've learned from so many things. I'm a great person. I'm a giver. I'm a truth seeker. I'm a truth teller. I own my stuff to be accountable for me. That's only because I've experienced so many different things. I've been hurt. People hurt me. But that don't make it all like horrific, like I need to go and be in a ball somewhere. No, I need to own it.
Let me ask you this question. Okay, so you decided to share your story and how other people can share their story through this book, right? What
Right.
about those individuals that feel like, you know what, I'm not an author. I'm a baker in Seattle. I am, I don't know, an event planner in Toronto. How can they share their story? What are some ways that we can change the narrative of our own story and take back our own story and share it in a way that's unique? Even if we're in an industry that doesn't, maybe they're not filmmakers, maybe not photographers or not creative. How can they share their story? You know what I mean?
I tell people to share your experiences. There's no one person experience that's the same as another. And a baker has a different experience than me as a magazine owner. So each time you can have different stories of how you learned how to ship things over and your biggest account, and talk about how you felt on the inside and what that made you feel like to even have a certain account like that, or anything. There's not a story. Or talk about when somebody told you your stuff was nasty and you had to go in and deal with the possibility of having to change something, and talk about that experience.
Yeah.
Everybody does not handle the same experience the same. So
That's good.
that's what you can do.
That's good. That's powerful. For those of you that are watching, I'm with my homegirl, Tanisha Brown. She's talking about, we're talking about her book and how her book is life-changing. And again, we're not here to sell books. I do creative conversations all the time. But I thought about Tanisha and I thought about what she was doing. And I felt like, you know what, I really want to sit down with you and have a conversation because I felt like you had something just a unique perspective to bring as a creative. And I do consider you a creative, even though you may not be like a functional, like I pick up a camera and film and shoot. There are a lot of creative ways that you think and approach information and presenting information and sharing information that I felt was extremely important in terms of including your voice into this sort of larger dialogue of a show. And I just wanted to jump into, what are some of the things that you're doing now with the book? You said you're doing a virtual tour. Can you share with us a few of the things that are happening with that specifically, and how we can support you and how we can actually purchase the book as well?
I'm so excited about this virtual book tour because before COVID-19, I was going across the country, and I was going to be in states like Utah and DC and everywhere. And, those relationships I had, I was inviting them to come out to the different cities, and we're going to talk about their tea and discussing, just amazing things. So when COVID happened, I'm like, wow, what can I do? So, okay. So then I sat back and I was speaking to a good friend. Her name is Lene Javette. And I was telling her, I want to do a virtual book tour since I don't know when this is going to be lifted up. It might be the winter time, but I have my book out now. And what do you think about a virtual book tour? She said, I think that is so innovative. You're so creative. And I said, people are doing this. I didn't just come up with this. I said, people doing it. It just.
But you know what? The thing is, you need that hype. You need that one hype person, right?
Yeah,
that one person to hype you up to be like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's good. It's good, isn't it? Right? All right, I'm going to do it.
And that's all I needed. Like, you think somebody The virtual book tour is going to be amazing. I have Christine Michelle Carter, who writes for Forbes Women. I have Claire Somers of Fashion Bomb Daily. I have Lene Javette, my friend, who has Upscale Noir. And I have Elizabeth Davis. She is the owner of a beauty company called Shadavi. And all of these women are powerhouses in their own areas. Christine has a #1 book, ever best-selling book on motherhood, and she's going to be talking about self-care, how we push ourselves to the side in order to allow people to be in front of us. The people could be our kids, our whatever. And she's spilling her tea on that,
That's good.
And then, Claire is talking about how she went through as a storyteller, the time with her social media was hacked into. And for over a year, Fashion Bomb Daily, which have over 1 million and some odd followers, was hacked into. She could not utilize it for a whole year.
Wow.
So as a person who whole livelihood is in this digital area and in this space, what do? You create on you. She had to learn who she was at this time and get people familiar with who she is. So we have a whole, time that is going to be in a designated space that we're going to be talking just like this, in a conversation. It's just the conversation is going to be about us and how we got the tea that gets us to the
that gets us to the juice. I gotta add something really quickly. For those of you that are watching, this is a really, really important point. So before you jump off, or if you're thinking of jumping off, really listen to this point. The reason why your story is so important and telling your story and shaping the narrative of your story is because your story is the fundamental or the foundation of your brand. It doesn't matter how large your brand is. It doesn't matter, if you're Walmart or Ralph Lauren or McDonald's or whatever else, or you're just the variety corner store around the corner. Your story, the story of why you started your business, why you felt like you need to solve a problem, why you picked the logo that you picked and you picked the industry that you're in. is important to your target client. It's important to your
Right.
audience. They need to know the why. And I think even with that example you're saying, Tanisha, with that young lady that had the modeling blog or account that got hacked into, one of the things that I'm learning and I continue to get reminded of is that if you don't own the platform, then you don't own the
Yep.
security, you don't own necessarily your content. So
Exactly.
you have to be super aware and super conscientious of where you're storing your most valuable content, your stories, your information, the way
Exactly.
you think, the way you process things. All of those things are valuable because it's your perspective. And I think that it's really
Right.
important to make sure that as creatives, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, that we are so intentional about diversifying where we spread our information, but then also always having a home point, a place to point back to,
Right.
our websites, our
Right.
blogs, whatever our space is that we own. So I just wanted to kind of add that in there because I think that really ties in well with what you were sharing.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Owning. It is all about owning. The best thing that can happen in your life is when you see the power of owning your own stuff.
Mm.
Own your own story. Own it. Don't be ashamed of anything. Own it.
Mm.
Especially if you are seeking to move from one narrative to the next.
That's
Like
good.
if you're looking to be a public figure or you are doing something where overnight it just ignites a fire that everybody wants to know who you are. Because long gone are the days where you can hide behind a commercial, your brand, or anything. Nowadays, people want to know who, what, when, where, why, how.
Yep.
They want to know all your business before they buy into what you're trying to sell.
Yep.
They want to know who you are, what you're doing, what is your affiliation, who you know. What are you doing? Do you support black business? Do you support white business? Do you do this? Do you do that? Do you drink beet juice? Do you don't? Do you drink it in a champagne glass or a wine glass? They want to know. And
And
you gotta be able to shape that story for them.
it's so funny that you say that. I totally agree with you, and I think one of the things I encourage people to do, especially with my clients, is don't sell me something. Tell me something.
Right. Tell
Tell
me
me, tell me
something.
something, tell me something. Give me your perspective. Anyways, I wanted to end off our conversation with a little bit of advice. I think you're a wealth of knowledge, and I think that you have put in your 10,000 hours and beyond in terms of connecting the dots and connecting people together. And I wanted to allow you to give some advice to those individuals, those creatives that don't really understand the art or appreciate the value of making authentic connections, and how
Mhm.
authentic connections in business, in whatever line of industry that you're in, is so vital and so important in terms of the growth of your business. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. Like I said earlier, my numbers are great. My numbers are amazing for where we are, but comparing my numbers to the people who I have and interviewed, who I have relationships with, does not equate to the things that I do. And that is only because of the relationships that I garner, that I hold true, that I respect and honor. A lot of the room, I spend a lot of money getting into a lot of the rooms that I've gotten into, but that didn't mean anything because if I would have went into the room and did nothing, then it's all for naught. But
Mm,
when I got into the room, I made sure I made true connections with people.
mm,
And the people that I didn't, that's okay. But the true connection to the people, we saw value in each other. It is
that's
not
good.
like, it's not like, oh, I just see this person, they got this, and I'm just gonna get, going in it to get. No, I
Mm.
really want to know who you are. I really want to build with you. I really want to know because I might not want to deal with you that way. You know what I mean?
It's so
And
true.
that's
No,
the true, honest thing.
but I love that. I love that about you, and I felt that from the moment that we met, it was just cool. Like, I mean, again, Tanisha will never tell you how many people she knows. Like, she knows celebrities, okay? She knows big, black, white, all colors, all
Yeah.
races, all creeds of celebrities. But she's just chill. She's like, oh yeah, I know, I'm gonna go. Like earlier this year, she's like, oh,
Oh my
Tristan,
God.
I'm just gonna go to what's that Sundance Festival? I said Sundance Film Festival. That's like that's like the film festival to go to as a oh yeah, I'm just gonna go there and just help my client. I said, huh? But you know what I mean? But she's just like that. She's just so authentic and gentle, and it's not about the fluff and about all that other sort of stuff with you. I love the fact that you're always razor focused on how can I actually connect with this person, because that's how I am. I'm very authentic that way. I really want to be a resource to somebody, and I want to make a connection. I want to actually see what makes them tick. And I think that those types of relationships are longer lasting, more potent, and more fulfilling than trying to win the room, but you lose out on the authenticity factor. You know what I mean?
Right. The value.
Yeah,
You
the
lose
value.
out on
Yeah.
the value
Yeah.
without understanding the human. You
Yes.
have to understand the person. You cannot devalue the person but want what they got. You can't do that.
Say it again, please.
Yes.
Oh my
That's gonna
gosh.
be the magazine meme for tomorrow. Wait a minute, that was good. Let me rewind that back.
You can't
Because I
yeah.
mean that.
Yeah. You cannot devalue the person, but want what they got, but devalue the person. You can't do that.
Right. You can't do that.
Those are polar opposites. Why would I give you anything if I know that you don't value who I am first? You know what I mean?
Right. And we will allow it because we don't know who we are. And that's why you got to get my book.
Oh, and on that, oh.
So,
Listen to me, okay? Somebody is spilling the tea to get to the juice, to that juice. And I'm just really excited. Sorry. So finish off your thought. You sounded like you said, yeah.
I said, so you can get the book from, everybody knows www, but theimpactmagazine.com. You can sign up for the virtual tour, and if you sign up for the virtual tour, you get a book anyway, so you should come to the tour and see that. It's going to be right there on Zoom, and it's going to, intimate conversation. You'll be able to ask your own questions.
Can I ask you a question? Is there
Sure.
Is there a website that we should go to just so I can put it into the chat?
Right. Yes, it's
www. Yep.
The
Yep.
impactmagazine.com.
Yep. Okay, perfect. I'll put that in there. You can continue on with what we're gonna be receiving if we are a part of the virtual tour.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Thursday is my birthday. So
Hold up. Grips on your way, front way. Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
So Thursday is my birthday. So I'm a giver always. And so I'm giving away a bunch of amazing gifts. One is a 3-day, 2-night luxury hotel getaway. All state gift cards. It's money basically. Candles, as y'all can see over there, I have one going on. Candles, some hibiscus tea. I've got the tea that gets me to the juice mug, red bottom brew cup, as y'all can see right here. It's just a whole bunch of gifts given away.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I like giving free stuff. Yes, please. Anyway.
Listen, some elixir for your hair from Shadavi. Just a nice gift box for you for your self-care, and the book.
Yes. All right. Well, listen, Tanisha, I just want to say I appreciate you. I love what you're doing for the culture, for the community, and just for people in general. You are a super authentic, genuine person. I respect the hell out of you. Love you, and I wish you the
Oh,
best
thank you.
for
Vice
this
versa.
book. I really do. I think that this is going to change lives and impact people. So
Hey.
again, please let us know how we can follow you. What's your social? What's all that sort of stuff, so we can support you, and then we'll sign off from there.
Sure. On Instagram, it's Impact Magazine. My personal page is Moments with Tanisha.
Okay.
And there you go.
All right.
And I really, Trisha, I want to just say to you, thank you so much for having me. It is always an honor for a person to want to hear your story. It is an honor to give my story to you. And as you opened up your platform of your people, I say thank you so much for doing that for me. I appreciate
Oh
it.
man, listen, it's all love. I mean, I want the best for you, and I think that voices like yours should be elevated, should be ones that people hear, and I'm just excited to be a part of the movement that you're creating, because I got some tea to spill on myself to get me to that juice. Girl. You better ask somebody. And with that, y'all, you guys have a wonderful night. All right, peace.
Thank you for listening to the Creative to Creative podcast with Tristan Barracks. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. If you would like to be a guest, please email us at info@tristanbarracks.com. Peace.